Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Kaba Ilco number 53025-KS-6-04. This is a really not unusual, it's uncommon for us to sell. Not only because it is a half cylinder, it's a profile cylinder as well. Profile cylinders are the standard in many lock types in England and Europe, in the Middle East. I can't say in Australia, I just don't know, but in Europe they're incredibly common. Very much so. There is the part number. Let's dissect the part number first. So a 53025, that's going to tell you, and there is a link below this video to a document called How to Order. That's really handy because it will permit you to see the variants, the options. So a 53025 is defined as half cylinder. Okay. You know, the only time I see profile cylinders are on sliding residential doors by your residential door manufacturers, the Andersons, the Pellas of the world, swinging doors as well. I can't think of a half-cylinder application that I'm aware of that I've ever seen. I can imagine how you might have a door that you want no access from the exterior and that you've ordered from the door supplier a blank escutcheon on the outside, assuming it's available. But, however, you do want to have control over one side of the door. Here it is. You know, obviously you wouldn't want key control on the inside of your house, but a half cylinder. This is it. So the 53025, that means it's a half cylinder. It means that it is a 5-pin cylinder. There are 5 holes up here in the area that's called the Bible. Yes, it's called the Bible, is where the driver pins, the springs, and these set screws are kept, and that's how you pin these. You take your Allen wrench and remove the set screws, put those in your pinning tray, remove the springs, remove your driver pins, and then you'll be able to dump your bottom pins and then repin it, should you need to. This client ordered a KA2 variant, which we'll get to in a moment, but it does mean they're just key-to-like in groups of 2. The KS is going to tell us that it's a quickset keyway. This is going to be a standard quickset type keyway. Obviously, quickset is the name synonymous with, I believe, the largest manufacturer of residential locks in the United States. The 6 tells us that the cam is in the 6 o'clock position when it is in the locked orientation. That cam can be placed in a number of different spots, and having it in the 6 o'clock position is dependent and specific to your application. I can't tell you where you're going to use the 6 o'clock position because I don't know. All European cylinders that I've come in contact, or profile cylinders they're called, that I've come in contact with have the cam generally in the 2 o'clock position. Very common to see it in the 2 o'clock position for me. 6 o'clock position, if you need that sitting down here when you're in the lock position, then that's how you order it. Okay. The 04 means brass. That means satin brass, in fact. Very nice satin brass. You're going to be able to order this. Let's back up to the cam position. There's an image down below that shows all of the different cam positions that you can order it in. 2 o'clock is the most common. Doesn't mean that's what you need. Then the finish. You'll be able to do this in your satin chrome. You'll be able to do it in satin brass and polished brass. Those would be the 3 finishes that you can do these cylinders in. And I'm looking at the How to Order page. I don't sell profile cylinders that often. Other keyways are available in this. The SC, which would be a Schlage C keyway. SE, which is a Schlage E keyway, and then the SF, Schlage F keyway, not unheard of. You can do an SX, which is a composite, meaning you can stick any of their classic multiplex keyways into. There may be 9, don't quote me. C, E, C, E, F, E, F, G, F, G. I'm at 7, maybe there's just 7. That it's a composite keyway where they basically take the warding or the broaching and they widen it, modify it so that you can literally insert any of those classic Schlage keyways into from their standard classic multiplex system. You can do a quickset, obviously, and then a WA. That's got to be wiser. You know what? Let's not count on that because Kaba has abbreviations for keyways that, to me, are not always logical. WA by Kaba is, see, it's a wiser E or Falcon, a WA. That would take a 1054 WB or a 1054 WC key blank is what would go into that. You can do a 6-pin as well. You can do your SC, your SE, your SF, and your SX. If you change the 53025 to a 53026, you can get that 6-pin should you need that. Then you can also do a thumb turn. And frankly, I would expect a half-profile thumb turn to be far more common because I want exit only. I don't want any trim from the outside of my door. I don't even want to have a keyway out there, but I do want to be able to lock it by thumb on the inside. I suppose you might have a residential application and you've got glass everywhere, certainly in the door, most likely, and you want to have key control over that. I could certainly understand that. Local code is quite specific about key access to exit being specifically not permissible. There is an occupancy type that permits it. I forget that at this time. Anyway, moving forward. Now, the information in the extended description is going to tell us that we've got a half profile and a quickset 1176 keyway. You will run that quickset 1176 into it. 6 o'clock cam position, polished satin brass. 2 keys are provided unless you do something else in terms of keying, and certainly can be repinned. Repinning these, rekeying these cylinders is not difficult. It's just time consuming because you can't see your shear line. You can't remove the plug to see your shear line. So what you end up doing is hopefully you have more than one to do because you generally need to figure out what pins you're dropping into each chamber, recording that information once you've got a really good smooth operation. Then you can move along rather quickly. So they can be certainly repinned. And that's really why people order these is because, I've got all these quickset locks on my house and, the fancy sliding residential door shows up from your Anderson Pellas of the world, and it's got some weird keyway in it. Although if it had anything, it would be Schlage or quickset, but it may not. You might be dealing with a profile cylinder that isn't a European lock, and you're not going to see a quickset 1176 keyway into it. 1176 is the quickset keyway. Okay, that's the common one. Also the same as Arrow in the sense that Arrow and quickset have a very similar broaching. An Arrow keyway won't pass into this, however. Now, with a profile cylinder, you're also going to get the bolt that you will use to secure that in the housing, and you'll see that bolt head right in the edge of your lock, and that screw needs to be removed so that you can literally then push the profile cylinder out. However, if you're going to remove this cylinder, you need to bring that cam down tucked into this position before you can then push it out. And I usually find it in the 2 o'clock position, and then I need to pull it back and then slide it out after you've removed the screw. And the head of that screw will certainly be in a complementary finish. I understand from actual locksmiths that they argue that the profile cylinder is an inferior design because the driver pins sit on top of the springs. Over time, a spring will fatigue. The weight of those pins themselves will literally cause that spring to come down so that when you insert the key, the springs don't bring the driver pins back up to the shear line. And I do agree with that. I'm not a locksmith, but I do agree with it because I've witnessed the fatigue of those springs and have even had to replace them or tug them a little further out so that it works properly. Albeit the times I've seen that are in really old cylinders, 20 years old, that sort of thing, depending on use, of course. But that gravity just tugs them down. And I do agree that that is indeed an accurate representation. And when you're dealing in the world of locksmiths, where you can literally be dealing with locks from the 19th century, longevity does matter. Having a lock that exists healthily for only 20 years, to me, that's a design that needs to be, rethought. However, once that key stops working really well, a locksmith will be able to bring it back up to healthy operation and probably give you another 20 years of faithful service. So there is a link below this video. And again, this client ordered KA2. So both of these cylinders are key to like in groups of 2. That was wise because now he's got 4 keys that work both of the cylinders. You can order the stuff factory keyed from Kaba, master keyed differently, however you might want it. They can do it, as can we. If you've got some special requirements, we can do the key work here in-house as well. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Kaba Ilco products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Kaba Ilco 53025 KS 6 o'clock cam position in a 04 satin brass finish or any other Kaba Ilco product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.